first of all, if it's a positive with a negative, you just change it to "-ide", right? Just change the ending to "-ide". That's nothing different. So if it's on the left and positive and on the right and negative, so like magnesium chloride, you just change the ending to "-ide". There's nothing special. So that's rule 1. However, if you have a transition metal, you need to use a stock number, right? Roman numerals, whatever that is, called a stock number. Okay? Because you have to tell me the charge of your ion. Still change the other one to "-ide". The third rule is a negative with a negative, right? Two nonmetals. So ask yourself, are they both to the right of the stair step? And if the answer is yes, this is when you use prefixes. And this is the only time you use prefixes. Let's list them just in case. Mono, di, tri, tetra. You have to have these memorized. Penta, hexa, hepta, octa, nona, deca. The last rule are acids. If you have an H, it's an acid, which changes the ending to "-ic". I would right away, maybe on the back, just write yourself your 2 examples. If I have HCl versus HClO3, right? They're almost the same. They both have hydrogen. They both have chlorine. But this one, you keep the hydro. This is hydrochloric acid. But if there's an O, there's no hydro. So this is just chloric acid. Okay. So let's do one of each of those. Number 22, copper is in the center somewhere. Where'd it go? Over here. There. I have to use stock number. So I know that this is copper something with sulfur, which becomes sulfide. Sulfur's charge is -2, which means if this is 1-to-1, this must be copper with a +2 charge. I didn't really talk about polyatomic ions over here, but I'm assuming that you know that this polyatomic ion is negative and that it's a whole thing. So for example, for this one, this would be sodium dichromate. Nothing special, because sodium is a positive and dichromate is a negative. Number 24 has an H, so right away at least get a point for writing acid. Okay. There's an O, so there's no hydro. This is nitric acid. The other example we don't get to until number 29. Phosphorus and oxygen are both nonmetals. They're both on the right. So this is the only time you use the prefixes over here. This would be diphosphorus, dioxide. Does anyone have a question on any of the others? 28. Mercury. Mercury is in the center, so I will need a stock number since it's over here. And ClO4 is chlorate. No, it's not. It's perchlorate. ClO3 is chlorate. So ClO4, and remember you will get the table, right? So just find it. ClO4 is perchlorate with a -1 charge. And this is a 1-to-1 ratio, so mercury will also just be a 1. Any of these others? Okay, so really then on the bottom, you're doing the same rules but in reverse. Okay, so You're just making sure that the thing that you write is balanced if it needs to be. If there are two nonmetals, no balancing. Don't try to. It'll hurt your brain. A negative and a negative can never equal a positive. Negative plus negative. Multiplying is different. Okay. Let's do the first example. Iron 3 fluoride. Iron is Fe and fluoride is F. Yes, you must know that. That's not given to you tomorrow. I don't think. I don't think it's given to you. If you're lucky, it will be. Iron 3, this is telling you the charge of iron, not that there's 3 of them. And fluorine I know is -1. So a positive 3 and a -1 is not balanced. I would need 3 fluorines. Okay. The next one is telling me an acid. At least get a point for knowing that an acid means there's an H. Okay? So if you forget the rule all of a sudden tomorrow for acid, at least if you see the word acid, put an H. It's 1 point. Okay? Now I need to decide. It says hydrochloric. Well, that's the one we use all the time, so that's nice. There is a hydro there, so this is not a polyatomic. This is just HCl. And then don't forget to balance it. This is +1, -1, so it's already balanced. Let's do the only other acid on here, which is on the very bottom, sulfuric acid. It's an acid, H. There's no hydro, so this must be one of the polyatomics. It's sulfur, so it's the one that ends in 8, which is SO4 with a -2 charge. Since sulfur is -2 and hydrogen's +1, that's why this is H2SO4. The other example would come in number 39. This has the hepta, right? So it's 2 nonmetals. Don't try to balance it, just do what it says. Xenon with fluorine, and hepta means there's 7 of them. Done. Don't forget about ammonium is the only positive one. So this is a polyatomic ion, NH4 positive, and chlorate is ClO3 negative. So that's the only one where there might be a polyatomic in the front. Also, don't forget that peroxide and hydroxide are polyatomic ions. So for example, hydrogen peroxide, hydrogen, and peroxide on this table is O2 with a -2 charge, and hydrogen has a +1 charge, so that is not balanced. Hydrogen peroxide is H2O2. And then same thing, the next one, remember that hydroxide is OH, so potassium, which is KOH. +1, -1, so it happens to already be balanced. Any others on there you'd like me to do? Okay, then I will stop the recording.